And SIU Center for Family Medicine. Call 217-824-1134 now or click their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Time now for the WTIM Morning Show right here on WTIM, your information station. I'm your host, Tim Zalabak. Thank you all for tuning in today, and thanks so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. In studio, we have Pam Moses and Amy Hagan, co-coordinators with the Taylorville Food Pantry. How are you both doing today?
Doing great, Tim. How are
Fantastic.
you?
I'm doing well, and once again, I'm doing great because my food pantry folks are back in studio with me today. So, how was the last month over at the food pantry? Talk to us about July. It was a hot one out there, and what were numbers like? What was the participation like over at the food pantry?
Well, we always like to talk, Tim, about the number of new people, new families that we have coming in the door as an indication of the overall economic health of our community. And interestingly enough, last month was actually a really high month with regard to number of new households. We had 35 new households come through our door last month. And what that translated to as far as numbers served was 432 households, 1,167 individuals. But again, that new household number is really, really telling. Because if you look at kind of where we've been so far this year, we've been a low of like 11 and a high of 34. So we basically reached a new watermark, I guess, in July, which again, all this kind of stands to reason, all those things we talk about each year about how difficult the summer months are for families, kiddos out of school, things like that. And July is those long days of summer, right? I mean, the kids aren't back in school yet. Summer's been going for a while, and people are obviously stretched to the limit. And that's what that number reflects. I've shared on air with you the fact that a number of people, reach out every week, every day, pretty near wanting to know what the hours are of the food pantry, wanting to know how they qualify, wanting to know if you have to reside in the county, all those kinds of things. So that indicates to me that there's people out there that would be new to the system, right? If they're asking basic questions like that. So.
You describe it so interestingly right there. It describes the economic health of a community. That's one of the most clear ways you can look at that, and never thought of it that way. 35 new households this year. I don't know if we've had a conversation here where that number has gone down or to a number that we're happy with right there. But
yeah, no, we're really not happy with it. Matter of fact, I was sharing off air. I was just online on the phone, that is, with our colleagues from the Central Illinois Food Bank a few moments ago. And I was, sharing with them the fact that we are not seeing any kind of decreases to the fact that we're helping so many people. And that really falls in line with food banking across the state of Illinois. Interestingly enough, people want to know, how do I qualify for the food pantry? Christian County, you need to be a resident of. And as far as your income, this is interesting, and people need to know this, is right now we are operating under the guidelines given to us by the USDA, the Illinois Department of Human Services. We are required to serve you if your income limit is less than 300% of the federal poverty level for your household. And those numbers are widely available online. If there's any question, you can always pop into the food pantry and we can answer that simple question. But it's based on the number of people in your household. And then there's a federal poverty level based upon the number of people in your household. Multiply that number times 3. And as long as your income falls below that, you qualify to come to the food pantry. And we've been operating at this level for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It used to be 185% of the federal poverty level. Now it's 300%. And what that means, I know I'm throwing out a lot of numbers this morning, but what that means is more people now qualify to use the food pantry than ever before. It's been that way for the last 2 years, and that really shows in the number of people that we're serving, because we're now able to help more people than we've helped in the past. That's an indication of just how expensive things are in the grocery store. We all know that. We've talked about it ad nauseum, but the reality is that we are now able to help people and have been able to for the last 2 years that we haven't before.
My goodness, even with the increasing numbers and
yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, it's driven by inflation. And we talked earlier off air about everybody getting their utility bill for July. And everybody's saying, this is the highest utility bill I have ever paid in my home the entire time I've been in it, whether it's been 1 year or 25 years. And so now, we expect that number of new people to continue here in the month of August, because if you've got your biggest month, I mean, July was hotter than normal. So everybody had the AC on, and, instead of out on 72, it's now on 75 because everybody saw that bill. But, everything's higher, right? And August being a month of expected additional expense on families, those that have kids going back to school, registration fees are here. So I don't expect that number of new people to go down this month. It probably goes up. We probably make another high water mark.
Yeah, I actually heard the other day that average cost to send a child to school this school year is $800 per child. So you think about that, that's money that's got to come from somewhere. And if you look at our calendar and when our busy times are, when our slower times are, I mean, around the holidays and stuff, and when people are trying to pay off their holiday bills, more importantly, and they realize they've got a cash shortage. But same thing, during the summer months and the going back to school time, is because these families are having to scrape together those dollars from somewhere, $800 a kiddo to send them back to school with registration and back to school clothes and all those kinds of things, doctor's appointments and all that. And they need the services of their local food pantry in those times. And that's why we're here. We're to be that safety net.
Hearing all of this, it just makes me so grateful in this community that we have things, of course, like the Taylorville Food Pantry Operation Loaded Book Bag just loaded a bunch of kids up with school supplies and things like that. It's helping families out one step at a time. If you look at Taylorville Anonymous, there's constantly people asking for shoes here, and obviously people are there to respond to that. So the giving community is here, but with rising numbers at the Taylorville Food Pantry, those rising numbers are going to need to continue for donations. So in this last half of our first segment right here with Taylorville Food Pantry, obviously moving into August, as we're in August, what are you looking for at the food pantry? What needs do we have to be met there?
Well, we first want to remind everybody with their local gardens, again, if you're seeing a surplus, you've already got too many green beans you've put up this year and you got a few left, or tomatoes or cucumbers, zucchini, all those things that are coming on right now. Remember us if you've got any extra. We'll take it on the anytime we're open, or you can also put it on the at the back door. You can put it at the front door. We'll take it at any of the doors, I suppose. So just a reminder, we just had somebody Amy was talking to yesterday that said their neighbor, had lots of produce, didn't know what to do with it. Amy's question was, did you tell them the food pantry? So it's we have to remind people, but we'll take all that garden produce.
We want to have that in the back of everyone's mind in this community, in Christian County, that if you do have extra produce or extra things in the back of your pantry, canned food items, Taylorville Food Pantry always here to accept that. And while it's kind of on the topic here, how has the relationship been with that food rescue program? I know months back we were looking for a truck. Are those donations still coming through? Are we still getting help with that?
Yes, we did pick up a couple extra volunteers, whether they heard it on the radio or what. We always need help in that program because people go on vacation but yeah, we're picking up now at a few extra places. We're picking up at a Dollar General. We're picking up at Walmart. We're picking up at Aldi. We're picking up at Kroger. We're picking up at IGA. Wasn't there one more? I think there's one more, but regardless, I mean, basically anybody that has food here in town, we seem to be getting a call for a pickup anywhere between 1 and 3 times a week. So
huge help there.
Yeah.
Really,
Keep the
awesome.
trucks coming.
Absolutely. Keep those trucks coming, keep them filled. And obviously volunteers out in the community wanting to aid in the effort, always welcome with the Taylorville Food Pantry. We're set to take our little break right now, but we've been speaking with Pam Moses and Amy Hagan, co-coordinators with the Taylorville Food Pantry. We got much more from them when we come back. You've been listening to the WTIM Morning Show.
Your information station, WTIM.
Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers visit Busch Stadium the weekend of August 16th through the 18th, and you won't want to miss this blockbuster matchup. The Hollywood stars from LA go head-to-head with Mason Wynn, Wilson Contreras, and the Redbirds. Plus, there are great giveaways you won't want to miss, like the popular Cardinals belt bag. That's the Dodgers and Cardinals, August 16th through the 18th at Busch Stadium. Great seats remain. Get yours today at Cardinals.com.
This is Wilson Contreras, San Luis Cardinal, for the Lou.
Radio gets results.
Miller Media Group Advertising works for Taylorville Estates. Here's Administrator Tony Clark.
In the past year, we have doubled our census. So that's been impacted mainly by the radio advertising. That is where we do the majority of our advertising. And our census definitely shows that it works. They lead us in the right direction for the season changing, and they anticipate our upcoming needs before we even have to tell them what they are. We've had consistent growth over the past 12 months. Like I said, we've doubled in our census, and that's been the first time in 43 months since prior to COVID that we've gotten to where now we have a waiting list for people to come. So advertising on the radio really does have an impact.
Hi everyone, Nicole Patrick here, your new local country financial representative at 917 West Bresser in Taylorville. I'm proud to recognize the Tornado student athletes that represent our community by being the exclusive sponsor of the WTIM Nicole Patrick Country Financial Player of the Game. During Tornado sports broadcasts this school year, WTIM announcers will select a player at the end of each game who will receive a certificate for being named our Player of the Game. Good luck to all the teams this season, and go Tornadoes!
If you're 40 and over, you'll recognize these artists by their first names. Frank, Dean, Sammy, Andy, Nat, Diana, Michael. Well, here's the big news. You can now hear Central Illinois' largest music library with over 3,500 songs on air and online at 965thechill.com. Tune in on the FM dial in Christian County and on your computer or smartphone. Hear these great artists and many more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 965thechill.com.
Find out about available units at Taylorville's Valley View Mobile Home Park, 913 North Taylorville Boulevard, by clicking the Valley View Mobile Home Park icon on the obits page of TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
This is Dr. Bill Byers, and I'm excited to announce the expansion of my Stealth Wellness business. Not only do I do functional medicine testing, blood work, and nutrition, but I've added red light therapy and sauna therapy to benefit those of Central Illinois. To learn more, click on my banner ad at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back into the WTIM Morning Show. We've been speaking with our Taylorville Food Pantry co-coordinators, Pam Moses and Amy Hagan. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors and those tuning in there. People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark in that first half. Talk generally about the food pantry, some of the operation, the food rescue program there, all great talks there. Now a little bit of change in operation at the food pantry. Amy, what do the people need to know about this?
Well, thank you. We actually have a new system. It's called Link to Feed. And I actually received a love letter from the Central Illinois Food Bank about a week or so ago. And they said, hey, you guys need to get onto this new system at the Taylorville Food Pantry. And the reason being is that we're one of the first food pantries in the 21 counties served by Central Illinois Food Bank that we're on an old system. And, like most things, right, old systems eventually die. And that's what's happened here. And so the long story short is we just kind of want to get the word out in the community that to our neighbors, that if you have been in our system in the past, you've utilized our services, Please keep in mind that effective immediately as we open tomorrow evening again, that we're going to need to repopulate this new system, this new link to feed system. Fortunately enough, there's not as many questions by the intake clerk as what there's been in the past. So it should go a little bit more smoothly, quickly. But regardless, the benefit of it, so far, what I've seen is one of the things we will collect is an email address on each of our patrons. And if there's any kind of food recall, supposedly it's supposed to make the communication of that easier, which is interesting. The other thing, which really kind of appeals to the businesswoman in me, is the new system is supposed to be a lot more economical to run. The Central Illinois Food Bank was had us on the other system. It was costing literally tens of thousands of dollars a year. And this new system is going to cut that cost dramatically, virtually to nothing. So that's going to be huge cost savings. And when that happens, then that just benefits all of us in the food banking industry, as it were. So
sure, might be a little rocky transition, but it's for the better, really here. So people that might be scrambling to link feed, or is it
link to feed
right now? They probably shouldn't be doing that because they'll get entered in upon their entrance.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Perfect. And then just with the Taylorville Food Pantry, there we got that cleared up. And with the recalls, are those common to have in the food pantry? How many of those have we had?
Yes and no. I mean, what I find is that they don't really impact us. What happens is Pam and I, or one of our other key volunteers, will get notified by the food bank that there is a recall, or the Midwest Food Bank. And then we just sort of like, did we order that product? Did we bring that product into our local food pantry? And if we did, we get the word out. A lot of times we'll have packaging examples at the intake desk. We'll say, if you've got this at home in your pantry, you're probably going to want to dispose of it. But as far as common nature, no, it doesn't really happen all that often. I think the last one I got was something about cinnamon and deli meat, and neither one of those we had. So,
No, correct.
Perfect.
And we have a little board, I guess, cork board or whatever, bulletin board, whatever you want to call it, just outside of the food pantry, where we will put up any recall notices. But normally when we get the notification out from Central Illinois Food Bank of any recall, a lot of times in the top sentence it will say, we have not had this in the Central Illinois Food Bank. So we know anything coming from them, was not included, or we have had it. So, and then we're scrambling at that point. Not to say that we don't have a chance to get it from, Kroger or Walmart or one of the food rescue locations, but I think in the last 5 years, we've only had one instance of something that we had actually handled that got recalled.
Oh, okay. So link to feed there, the new system that's looking to just clear things up and make everything a little bit more safer on the recall front there. Last 2 minutes of our morning show here, Pam, with donations with the food pantry, of course, anything helps there. But what are some more options that you would like to see for the patrons that are coming in?
The last few years, we've actually struggled to get ramen noodles. We've struggled to get macaroni and cheese, sometimes even spaghetti. A lot of times we've had those on order with some of our local retailers, and we call and say to come in on the truck, and that answer is no, we didn't have any extra after they take care of their own stores. So why those have been difficult, I really don't have that answer, but they should be simple staples, and some of the things we've not had on the option of going down the aisles, and it's not there.
Sure. Yeah. So if you were out grocery shopping with a mission to donate to the Taylorville Food Pantry, ramen noodles, mac and cheese, and just regular boxes of noodles, super cheap stuff, super easy.
Absolutely.
And stuff stays good for a long time. My co-coordinators with the food pantry, thank you so much for taking the time being here with me today.
Thank
Absolutely. You. Pam Moses, Amy Hagan, both co-coordinators with the Taylorville Food Pantry, with a lot of great words today. Thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. I've been Tim Zalabak, your host of the WTIM Morning Show. Thank you all for tuning in today.
Your information station, WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9 W300 EH Payne and Nokomis.